All right. Hey y'all, welcome back to the African Mavericks podcast. I'm your host, Ebuka Mwana. And over here, we aim to promote independent thinking and purposeful living amongst young Africans. So essentially, what we're trying to do is encourage young Africans or anybody who comes across our content to be independent minded about their purpose. And if you vibe with those values, please stick around because on today's episode, we continue the conversation with Folake Kofo-Idowu. In case you missed part 1 of that conversation, please go check it out. I have attached a link somewhere on the screen, so please go check it out. Now in this part 2 of the conversation, we continue her journey from med school in Lagos to the impactful work she's currently doing with Amal Outreach. Folake's story is honestly a powerful testament of resilience, determination, and clarity of purpose. So, without much further ado, let's dive right in. So, the next set of questions, it's actually in line with this personal story you just shared. I was going to ask about challenges and obstacles you faced along the way, but I would rather want you to just talk about how you've learned to address those challenges. Is there any process that you use, or just speak on that?
There will always be challenges. There will always be. And I've come to the point where first is I turn everything to God, because I used to be a warrior in terms of I worry a lot. Again, I analyze and I overanalyze and overprocess. So my mind is running. People say a mile a minute. No, my mind is running 100 miles a minute. Now I'm like, I cannot keep myself. So maybe I'm running at 1.5 miles a minute or 2 miles a minute. And but I think the first thing is just knowing that the road is never going to be smooth. It is never going to be smooth. Trust me. The richest people in the world who have all the money to throw at problems, there's always a problem to solve. There's always something. So knowing that is just, first of all, is peace, because you now not say, hey, God, why is it me? It's not only you. Everybody is facing problem. It's not only you. So part of what I do is, you crowdsource for answers. If it's business, entrepreneurship, nonprofit, you're looking at people in the space, because so if it's a good idea, someone else has thought of it. And trust me, if it's a problem for you, someone else have experienced it. So how do you crowdsource for answers? YouTube, Google is a very good resource where you type it and someone maybe has written an article about it, someone has been interviewed, or if it's you have to learn how to do something, right? Sometimes also it might just be something is not in your wheelhouse, not your expertise. Find an expert. I'm in the phase of my life where I'm deferring to the experts. I might have my thoughts on it. I would tell you my thoughts on it. But you, sir, or you, ma, are being paid to use your years of experience and your brain. Give us a solution. I'm not. But of course, you can't always. I wasn't always in that space. One, either I couldn't afford it or I was still trying to do things myself and stuff. So one, crowdsourcing, knowing that there will always be problems. There will always be something to solve, except you are not moving forward, except you are not doing anything. Even if you decide to sit in one spot, there's a problem, because you will get hungry. How is food going to come? You need to use the loo. Are you going to go? Are you not going to go? That's still a dilemma, right? So there will always be something to solve. And knowing that gives you a measure of peace, and knowing that other people have gone through it. So you can crowdsource for answers, finding mentors, coaches, a coach will guide you, but mentors probably have been through it or can guide you. If you have consultants that you can bring in to iterate and look at the problem and give you solutions that and sometimes it's just going out to seek advice, and sometimes it's rolling your sleeves up and just getting down and dirty and fixing what needs to be fixed. like in September, we were having like, okay, recruiting people. So we did like a barefoot clinic, last mile healthcare giver thing for 3 years for free. When it's now time to pay, register and come and pay, people were like, no. And all I was hearing is excuses. And I'm like, people are collecting salary. You can't just, I packed my things. I went to Lagos, and for a month, every week I would go into the market and like talk to people. I'm like, I'm registering people. I remember I was posting on my thing. I'm like, I've Part2 maybe somebody registered. Our registration fee is 1,000 naira. I'm like, I'm Part2 I registered one family of 5. I have 5,000 today. It was an experience, because I'm like, I want to understand what it is you're going through. Maybe I don't know what you are going through. That's why my mouth is sharp in America here to say that or maybe you're going about it a way I can think about it a different way. So I went on ground with them, and we did that, and we posted about that, that journey. So there will always be challenges, but knowing that they will always come, knowing that you're not the only one, people have gone through it, and there are answers out there. There's always an answer. Don't think nothing is unsolvable. That's my own. Nothing is, you might not, if you are dead set on an outcome, it might be more challenging. Like, this is the exact outcome I want. But if you are open and, nothing is unsolvable. And, just getting help. And that's what I try to do. And sometimes taking a pause, because there are times where we are too immersed in the problem that you're in a loop. So sometimes you just need to take a pause, step back, or step outside the problem, do something else, and you're able to come back to it, And I think that applies to a lot of things, artists, writers, blog, whatever it is. So, yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed the sign that back there.
Everything is figure outable. Like, yes, it is. And I have that streak. Like, it can't be that bad.
I put that there as a reminder to myself, because there was a period in my life where I was stuck in this, or I'm the only person that's having this problem, and reality had to actually, from crowdsourcing, I started having conversations with people around me, and I came to realize, like, bro, you're not alone in this, man. So figure out the solution. So I think that put me on the path. That actually led to this platform that we're speaking on now.
That's
so good. I really that resonates with me a lot. You've shared a lot of lessons and insights. My question is now, are you consciously trying to pass these lessons to the younger generation? Is that something that you're conscious about doing, and how do you go about doing it? And in particular, just since we're talking about thinking independently, thinking for yourself, is that something you also like? Is that something you're conscious of? Steering the younger generation, people around you, in that direction?
Most definitely, yes. Starting with my family, that thing about what do you want, be clear on what you want, independent. Yes, I definitely. And, I got to a point also, a personal decision for my own self, but it helped them is, I'm in your life. So one of the things I tell them is, my job in your life is to help you get to your destination in the most efficient way. I may not be the one to drive you. You will go there yourself, but I will help you in charting a course. I don't believe in because I went through it, you have to go through it. Like, no, man. If I have the cheat code to step 1 to 3, I'm going to give it to you so that you can save your energy, so that you can unlock step 4 to 6 and give it to somebody else. So that means the next generation that is coming after us has the cheat code to step 1 to 6, and they can get to step 10. That's the formula of my life. And I tell them, when you're coming to me with a problem, sit down, analyze what the problem is, what solution you would like, go and research, right? Come to me with options. So I know that you've done some thinking. You might find 10 things out there. Come to me with 2 to 3 options. Let me now use my own wisdom, my own experience, my own knowledge to now say, okay, let's talk about it. Why are you're trying to get to A? This might not get you to, this might get you to A plus, this might get you to A minus, this might get you to A with maybe longer time, and then we now analyze that. So independent thinking, I do encourage it because I tell them, don't just come to me and say, I have this problem. I mean, and you just expect me, oh yeah, she's all smart and all this and whatever. And I can spout a solution in my head. Like my sister out there, sometimes the person I'll be like, are you okay? I seriously, are you okay? Why are you jumping up and down because of calm down, but I had to force them to start. So it's like, iterate yourself, give me options, and then we talk about. So even to talk about it, I'm asking you questions and I'm forcing you to think and tell me things, then I help you put it together. In terms of like other aspects and I tell them a lot about my own challenges, so that you're not seeing me as this your sister, this your auntie who is so fabulous and successful. They see me cry. They see me get mad, when I'm like, oh, this thing is not working out, whatever. They know that. So when they have challenges, they know that people go through it. And it's okay to get mad. It's okay to feel sad. But again, I'm like, do not sit on your ass. Do not sit on your behind. Feel sad about it. Give yourself 5 minutes. Stop. What are we doing? How are we solving? Yes, we can grieve. We can bitch about it. We can whatever. But at the end of the day, are we just complaining to complain? There's a goal. There's money to be made. There's lives to be impacted. There's something. There's an outcome. There's an impact we're trying to get to. So, okay, 5 minutes. We wallow and feel sorry for ourselves. Redirect. What are we doing? How do we solve? So I do definitely share my experience, because sometimes when you're giving people advice, they'll be like, it's because he never do you. So by the time I'm telling you that they've served you breakfast, my dear, come and sit down, come and hear my own. Last night, I was still telling like a bigger sister of mine, about, and she's like, what? You what? You took that from some? I was like, yes. So when I'm now telling people I'm unapologetically not taking certain things or drawing a line, it is because when I sit down and tell you the BS that I have taken from people, and I would no longer do it, the average person who is telling me that I am to this and to that and to cannot and will not and have not taken what I have taken. So now that I'm fully standing on my 10 toes, I'm saying, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take that. I'm convinced to the letter, right? That I know that all of you people that are saying I should be patient or I should try, and that you've been saying these things, cannot tolerate the things I've tolerated. So you know what? Thank you, but no thank you. And you have to know who your advisors are. That's one of the things I learned, is that people who are advised, and I tell my sisters, I'm like, this is the point of view that I am advising you from. That may not be the point of view that you need. We might be solving the same problem, but we are coming from different points of views, different life experiences, and different biases. And I learned that because someone advised me, was nudging me to make a decision. But then, later I learned a little about their own personal backstory. I'm like, yeah, your point of view is not my point of view. The goal, the journey, the way you think, the way you expect certain spaces to function, that's not the kind of vibe. And the vibe you are working towards is different from the vibe I'm working towards. It's like office culture. It's like CEOs advising themselves about office culture. Someone say, don't allow them to come late. And one person is like, I don't see a problem with them coming into office with jeans and t-shirts, as long as you do my work, right? And one person is like, no, everybody must come to work. You must arrive. You must swipe. Like, nah, we're trying to build different vibes. And so you have to know the person who's advising you, where they are coming from and where they are going to. But I try to be 100% transparent with whoever it is I'm talking to. I encourage young people around me, or, I get people referred to me like, oh, I have this cousin, I have this sister who wants to do sciences, who wants to do this, and she doesn't know. I'm like, okay, ma'am, what do you want? I had someone microbiology, somebody microbiology does not do this. I'm like, the world is changing. What do you want? When you close your eyes, what do you envision for yourself? Let's start from there. And that's where, distill your thoughts. What do you want? Not because, what do you want? And then come back, clear it up. Let's figure out a way. Everything is figure outable. I have someone who is volunteering with us now, who she's in medical school. I hope, she's a medical person, is in medical school, and they did some creative work before then, but they're not sure how to merge it. And I'm like, I may not know it, even though I have ideas, but we'll figure it out. You don't worry. There's medical communications, there's medical journalism, right? We'll figure it out. And when they talk about ikigai, what you're good at, what you love doing, and how to monetize, I'm like, see, in this world today, anything and everything is monetizable. Somebody is farting in a mason jar and selling it on OnlyFans or wherever it is. So, my dear, if you have skills, we'll figure out how you make money out of it. Is it not this brain? Is it not question? We'll use mouth and ask people now. We'll figure it out. So I do try to encourage young people around me to be clear on what their own passion is and what their desire is. And I tell them that passion can be a 10-year passion, can be a 5-year passion. Leave it. If you change your mind, you change your mind. You find something else. You do it, because life is meant to be lived. Life is meant to be lived, and you don't want to trap yourself, put yourself in something. I mean, I've been a doctor since, I don't know. I've been a doctor since 2008, since I graduated medical school. But I've been in the medical field since, I entered medical school in like year 2000 or 2001 or 2002. I know the dates are going up and down, strike and everything. So you start, but there's hiatus. And I'm ready to transition out. And, you can look at, I've invested so much. Because you've invested so much in something does not mean you cannot walk away from. You can always start over. And that goes for personal lives, personal decisions, geographical location, anything. Never be afraid to walk away from something. If it feels like it's caging you, it's trapping you, you feel discontent, fine, there's always a way. You may not walk away from it completely. You might still have attachments. But you can, or you might even still be your main thing, but you have a side thing, like, maybe, stargazing is my passion. You can make stargazing your side thing, because you have to, don't keep your life something that you can't wait to escape from all the time. Make your life where you want to be all the time. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm a doctor. I'm trying to transition out of clinical medicine, because I really want to sit on my passion and work on it all day. But the money's not going to make itself. It's not going to fund itself. I have to fund it till we get funders, or till it can run itself and pay me. It can't pay me now. I don't know if it can pay me in 2 years. So you still have to keep body and soul together. So I try to be open and transparent with my challenges, my experiences, and the lessons I've learned in trying to guide them. So I'm not just pulling things out of, and if it's something I don't know, I'll be like, see, I read this thing, but I think it makes sense, or this thing doesn't make. And there are times I advise people and I tell them, they will say, I may be giving you this advice, and you're looking at me that it's because you're in America, or it's because, so sometimes if it's abuse, I will abuse myself. I say, you might think that it's because I don't have this, or I have this. That's why it's easy for me to advise. For instance, I've advised people about maybe certain steps, and I'm like, if you want to make this decision, you have to step outside of it. Do it on your own, or start it on your own. Like, you have a child, you are relocating, leave your child in Nigeria. If you want to do this thing, and you get things like, it's because you don't have children. And I'm like, yeah, it's easy for me to tell you, but want to tell you to leave your child with family, focus on this thing you want to do for a short while, and bring your kids. It might be easy for me to tell you because I ain't got a child. But one thing that you cannot take from me is that experience. I know about it front to back. And I will tell you that it will shake you. It will shake you. You will ask yourself, who sent me message? Having a child in America, out of Nigeria, where you don't have family support, so I tell people, like, you might think that it's because I don't have a child. You might think because I don't have this, that I'm advised, that it's easy for me to advise you. But me, I will tell you, that this experience requires you to tie your wrapper very, very well. So that's what I do.
Thank you for that answer. So it seems to be that you, from a early age, you've had strong opinions about certain things, right? You had mentioned, while we were in the market, under 10 years old, you were a precocious child that, voiced our opinions. So what that tells me is that you've had strong opinions about certain things over the years. So my question now is, what is something that you felt strongly about that your perspective about that thing is shifting because of the experiences and the lessons you've learned? Or has shifted?
Ooh. What comes to mind? It depends on what sphere of life I want to answer this from.
I want the one that just came to your mind, the one that made you have that reaction.
I think that's it's on the personal end. It's how would I do it? How would I put it? I'm trying to think about how to. I don't want to say family structure, our roles, and how we exist. It's not even roles. It's not so, there's a bit of roles in it, but how we exist in society. I'm a Muslim, and in Islam, women have a right to their money. And like, we have a right to our money so much that in inheritance, women have inheritance rights. Men, even though men, like, the division is, you actually count the women first, is X. Women get X. Like, X is the value of whatever that you're dividing the whole thing by, right? Women get X. So you cannot say men get X and women get half of X. No, you start with X and then men get 2X. But the reason that men get 2X, it's not because they are more anything. No, it is because they are the caretakers. So I would inherit money, but I don't have to spend that money on anybody. My father, brother, husband, uncles are responsible for caretaking of me, right? So pin that there. Now, so in existing in society, of course, it's what the opinions I had held is based on my experience, what I've observed and whatever, and how it shaped me, and conversations that I've had with my friends, my siblings and all of that. And it's this independent woman and hyper independence that we've gotten to. And this independent woman did not just come out of women just wanting to, it is out of what we have seen, the injustices that we have observed that have been perpetuated in society over centuries, unfortunately, by men, primarily. There are misogynistic women. There are women who have swallowed that self-hate like Eba and Afang soup, right? That has embodied them. And so it is a reaction, because you cannot over decades watch something. You cannot have a bank account and somebody dictates what you're going to eat, because it's indignation. And it lessens your humanity when you have to beg someone that is meant to take care of you for what you're going to eat, right? For your source of livelihood, to live, to breathe, to exist. And that, I believe, is what really pushed for women being like, screw this. We have arms. We can work. We can earn money. Now that has gotten, there's different shades of it. And that's why I started with that. My religion preaches, even if I do not lift my arm for a day, I am entitled to be taken care of, point blank, period. But we know that human beings do what they want. So because it is the ruling or the teaching doesn't mean it is done, right? And some of them will argue with you. So it's just stupid argument, because what it is, and that's why I encourage people, go to that primary source verification, go to the direct source, go and read the direct source. Some people will try to interpret in ways that suit them, but it is what it is. It says what it says. So society, the arc of society is that because we are trying to remove ourselves from under the umbrella of oppression, and a lot of it starts with financial power. You see, when people in abusive situations or just horrible situations, but they cannot leave that situation. There's a psychological part, even when you're in, because there are women who are earning money, who are maintaining their families. She's the money, but she cannot leave the man for some stupid reasons, but that's their business. But mostly, it's primarily that financial, right? There's that financial muzzle that your arm twisted and you cannot go and you cannot this and you cannot that. And that has borne. And, unfortunately, the ghetto part of it is the workplace. I tell people when they say, oh, they need to redesign the workplace. No, they need to break it down and redesign it. It's not modify. It was not made for women. The current workplace and work structure, it was not designed for women to be in it. You live in the US. Look at the temperatures of office buildings. Temperature of office building does not agree with the biochemistry of the body of a woman. If any office you go to, I can tell you, if you take a poll, more than often the men are fine and the women are cold. You have office buildings, you have women with breasts and who are lactating, and nobody can have a lactation room. They will say, is in this America now, you give birth to a child, they say 2 weeks. 2 weeks. How? Nothing has healed in your body because it wasn't designed for. It's like they're tolerating us. So for me, where I have come to is, I'm sorry, why am I working? Why? Yes, I have passion. I want to do it because I want to do it, not because I have to. Like, yes, okay, the purpose part, yeah, I have to fulfill my purpose. You do that. But in terms of work, like, why am I working? It's somebody else's job. And these men need to step up. So I think my view is that this thing that they've sold us, that hyper independence, in a way, there's a way it's been sold. Of course, there's certain groups that, it's more balanced or whatever. But in terms of like, no, I in terms of staying and like, oh, you must work, you don't need somebody, or we're toe to toe. We're not toe to toe anything, because the amount of testosterone a man has in his body is different from what I have. And what testosterone does and what it gives you is different from what it gives you. What I bring is different. We might be equal in certain things, but there's variance in our equality, right? I cannot lift a woman who is going to lift 100 kg or 100 pounds or whatever. She would have worked to that point. But for the average man, it might be easier. But anyway, the more, maybe it's controversial or whatever. It's ghetto. It's ghetto out here. We don't want to work. Honestly, especially Black women. Black women, God, no. We want rest. We deserve rest. We want rest, and we are yearning for, and we will take it. So all this workplace something, you have to count me out. If I can step out of it, I will. Like that. Nobody should tell me. I've told people I'm not strong. Don't call me. I am powerful. Powerful does not necessarily mean strong. You know, at least you cannot. Queen Elizabeth was powerful, but she was not, strong in that sense. So that patronizing label of strong superwoman, no, don't call me that. I'm not, because it's a trick to get us into doing things, into picking up the slack for people. Men need to step up. Men need to step up and do better and see themselves. Yes, they are primarily money makers. You can fight me on that. That's your problem. Yes, you are the money maker, and you are much more than a money maker. You're meant to provide safety and security, and money provides some of that because you get a good house, you get good food, you get clothes on your back. But there's also emotional, physical, psychological safety, security that you bring, and men are missing out a lot on the gains of them standing in that position, because it also benefits them. But also they are depriving societies, they're depriving families, they're depriving children of that vital part of them, that a man being soft, vulnerable, tender removes nothing from your masculinity. When you meet real women, in fact, is a very good trait. When you meet the solid women, the men that are enjoying it will know that they know that them being vulnerable and providing a safe space for vulnerability and for people to be able to, you're not just hash. They will tell you. Unfortunately, I just feel like they've gotten to a healed space that they're just not talking. They don't even care about the noise in the world, right? We're like, we need you to talk and show the people. But it's like when certain men, when they get into that space, they're like, oh my God, all of that is trash. And they just go into their cocoon and enjoy their world. But yeah, it's that, honestly, this thing about women having to work, or you must work, or whatever, and you're in a space, you're in a pairing or whatever relationship, and you must, no, I'm not doing that. Like, no, count me out, not doing that. Yeah.
So if I get you, what you're saying is that you're in this phase of you want to live soft girl life.
Yes. And I'm giving myself that.
Okay.
So that when somebody
Nothing
comes,
wrong
you
with that.
be like, you were not able before I met you. No, sir. I was doing that for myself. So now, first of all, you need to pay late fine because you're arriving too late and you made me spend my money on that. I shouldn't have if you had come on time. But okay, you're here. Pay the fine. Now let's move on. Take over. I'm not doing anything other than and of course, someone will be like, what are you bringing to the table? If you have to ask me what I'm bringing to the table, first of all, you are not in my sphere of thinking and influence. Step aside. Because the man who knows the value of a human being and of women and what we are, what we represent, knows what he's looking for. And he's not going to, if you're going to ask a woman, what does she bring? So you don't even know what you're looking for, what she brings to the table. Because if you know the power of a woman, you will see the value. It will be very, very obvious what she's bringing. Even just her existence in your life, her existence that brings, imagine it. Can all these people that when they have children, do they ask the children, what do you bring to the table? But you wake up in the morning and you go to work for that child. It's because you love that child. That child exists and makes you happy. So as a woman, as your wife, yes, I exist. My existence makes you happy. You are happy that I'm here, right? Exactly. That's enough. That's more than enough. And yes, and then whatever else I do and give, we're giving that. But the fact that I exist and my existence makes you happy, if my existence stops making you happy, then that's fine. I can leave. And trust me, there are a lot of people who are happy that I'm alive. I will gladly be like, sir, we are waiting, please. You know.
Thank you for that answer. I love that. um, so next set of questions I want to ask you revolves around the slogan for African Mavericks. So the slogan is "Bet on your truth."
Bet on your
On your
truth.
truth. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you. So when you heard that, what comes to mind? What does it mean to you?
Putting it all on the line. Standing 10 toes. That's the hill you're gonna die on. Right?
Mm,
You stand
yeah.
10 toes on it. That's what you believe in. That is your truth. And you will put your all on it. That's what it says to me. Like, you're going hard for what you believe. What is your truth? Yeah.
Okay. I'll take that. Can you tell me a time where betting on your truth felt like a gamble? You probably mentioned this earlier, but just can you tell me a time where betting on your truth felt like a gamble and it later on turned out to be a sure thing?
Mm.
It could
I
not it could
Go on.
be it could be, something major, it could be something, minor, personal. Just
So I think maybe my nonprofit and the work, because it's turning out to be true, but it's still a part of it. And I'm betting on myself because I feel like the way we are doing what we're doing, it's not how most people are doing it. And so it's either we're just ahead of the curve or just outside of that, what is usual. I try to use the what's this thing? Standard deviation curve. The
mm,
most common things are within 1 to 2 plus or minus, and the standard deviation 3, 4, and maybe we're just lying a little on the unusual, or we're just ahead of the curve. And it happens like that because you're talking to people, they say it's a good idea, but we're like, funding, and they're like, oh, we're not funding that, and they're funding things. I'm like, okay, but this is even like adding a layer or whatever on it. So I feel like in betting on that and that truth, it's because I do question myself, when you experience these rejections and all of that, like, are we not doing this well? Are we not doing it? And then sometimes you try to iterate and modify, but when you are changing and some of these changes, I just feel like it doesn't feel true to my purpose. It doesn't feel true to what I'm doing. And so I'm just like, no, we'll stick with, we're making modifications and there are new things that I'm discussing with the team in terms of, okay, we've done this before. It was as a prelude to something else, but you know what? Can we do it in a certain way and make it like even a part of the going forward as a standalone, blah, 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 like our Barefoot clinic, which we did for free. And we kind of incorporated it into what we're doing now, which is we have a clinic, we offer telemedicine, but we also offer home care or community care, home/community care. Someone will come, again, market people to your shop, check your blood pressure, and it's part of what you've paid for. But in finding customers, people are not like, you tell them to come and pay, and it's now story. So I'm like, okay, is it that what we are selling, we're not selling good markets or what? So we're like, okay, how do we figure out a way to make it work? And you just have to, because you can't be rigid on just your ideas, because you're serving people. And if the goal is to serve, then you have to listen to them and figure out a way that they can receive what it is that you're trying to give. So, but we'll keep working on it. I mean, we are making impact, and people are giving us feedback. People that their health is improved, they are giving us, and we know we're on the right track, but we just keep at it.
okay. It seems to me like And just from what you said, what you shared about Amal Outreach, which I would like you to speak more about. But it seems like it's a subscription-based thing. Is that true or no?
Kind of like, yes.
Okay.
It's like a subscription based. It's a, yeah, subscription based. It is subscription based. So what we, like I said, okay, primary health care with a mix of in-clinic, telemedicine, and home/community care.
Mhm.
We do have like a monthly subscription that gives you access to certain package of care, and their levels of, that you can subscribe to. There's also the option of not subscribing, because some people are like, I don't want to subscribe, I just want to come when I want to come. Okay, you can do that, and we have a plan and a payment modality for that. Now, in another thing that we've worked into it is kind of like a financing model. And that financing model is, we're not doing health insurance, but what it is a contributory scheme. It's literally a thrift savings, but towards your healthcare. Literally, that's what it is. So we have people who, instead of going to them at the end of the month to bring out 4,000, which you tell the way to seller to just dip a hand and bring 4,000 out. But if you ask her for 200 naira per day, you probably can get that, right? 500 naira. Some of them, so we have people who are contributing 200 naira per day, 500 naira per day towards their monthly premium. And that's the financing that we've worked into it. Right now, it hasn't been digitized because we're trying to figure out the digitization part that will reduce, because they want in Nigeria now, they deduct something from your account, that's 7 naira, VAT 15 naira, transfer charges. If somebody is contributing 200 naira and you are removing 50 naira per transaction or 87 naira per transaction, it doesn't make sense. So we're iterating and trying to figure out building the tech for it, and also iterating to try to figure out the best way to now collect those micro savings digitally while limiting the charges and impact to them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, very interesting angle you guys are coming in from. Just from what my little experience or limited experience in Nigeria, I don't think I've come across any such health service that's being run the way you're running it. So kudos. Last question before I get into some fun questions. Can you share with me an insignificant moment in your life that turned out to be a pivotal experience for you, that set you on this path? Or
insignificant?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Like when you think back on it, you were like, wow, I wasn't expecting that to be to have guided my direction, but it turned out, I'm glad that happened.
I don't know if it was insignificant. I think part of it may have been like me not getting not passing primaries exam in Nigeria, like the doctor's residency exam, primary, they call it primaries, the first exam that you do. Probably me not passing, because if I had passed, I would have gotten residency in Nigeria, and I may not have traveled, or I may not have traveled when I did. Yeah.
So in hindsight, you're actually glad that didn't happen.
Oh yeah. Even I mean, yeah, definitely.
All right. So now let's go into some unconventional questions. I don't know why I call it that, but let's see. Just they may come up as philosophical questions, but just whatever comes to mind, give it to me straight. Cool.
Okay.
All right. If you could describe your life journey in with a fruit and or a song, what will you pick and why?
If I could describe my life with
Yeah.
a fruit and a song, what
Yes.
would it be? A
And
fruit
or.
and or
Okay, yeah. So if you want to go with both of them, go ahead. If you want to pick one.
song. Song, I would have to think, but a fruit, maybe I'll stick, because song, I literally, I would have to run through catalogs and we might not have the time for that. But a fruit, definitely not a strawberry, because she's sour and tart. I would say maybe a mango, but not a green looking mango, sha. If I say orange, different parts of the world, like in Nigeria, orange is green, but it may be ripe inside. What are the fruits? I'm thinking. Why is my brain not? Oh, okay. Grape, maybe. Maybe grape. I'm somewhere between a grape and a mango.
Okay. Since you go,
I,
since
I
you came, since you, oh, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go on.
I was gonna say since you said mango first, I'm curious to know why mango.
Because mango is definitely, like, if you think about mango, you're thinking tropical and you're thinking sweet.
Okay.
The chances a mango is not sweet is very, very low. It means that somebody literally gave you a mango they should not have given you. So mango by definition is sweet. So maybe I could stick with mango. The only thing is, like, when I went for grape, it was, even though a grape doesn't define it well, I think a fruit with layers might be good. Onion is not a fruit, would have been, but it's just there. I mean, the mango, if we want to keep it simple and we say mango, it's just because it reminds you of the sun, the tropics, which kind of, like, represents the sun. It's kind of like, very sunny there. And the mango is sweet. So there's sweetness there. And of course, there's layers to it. So yeah, if I want to twist it a little bit, there's layers of what you can get from mango that maybe typically many people don't know. Like, there's mango butter that people use for skincare. So there's mango butter. So you see, if I want to apply the analogy of layers, the seed also gives something. And you can do that. So if we want to stick with mango, yeah, a mango, sun, warmth, and it's sweet. It's juicy, it's thick, it's soft, and it's sweet. Yes, we can stick with mango.
Hence the soft life you want. You're
My
going
brother,
after.
my brother. Honestly, that's the truth. Enjoyment is the truth. And see, that enjoyment is better and is sweeter when I don't have to work for the money. When the money is not, like, when the money is just entering my account and I haven't done anything. Like, thank you, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So next question. Imagine if your life was a book. What would you call the book? The name of the book, and what would you give the title to this current chapter?
Ooh, honey.
Is that the name of the book? Honey.
I don't know. Name of the book. Maybe I don't know the name yet, but I may come to it. But the name of this chapter, as in the name of this chapter of my life, is Pink Glitter Farts. Like, if anything could be glittery, and you and like, if I'm so glittery and so pink that my fart is glittery and pink. It is honestly that, like, yeah. Love, light,
Okay.
lush, and laughter. That is the theme of me right now. Love, light, lush, and laughter.
Okay.
And it was a deliberate decision. Like, I made a decision. And it doesn't matter. By God's grace, it doesn't matter what happens. Life is up and down. But my baseline is love, light, lush, and laughter. I am being kinder to myself. I am taking care of myself more. I am softer with myself. I am giving myself more grace, and many people who are high achieving, that self-criticism, we criticize ourselves so much. We hold ourselves to such a high standard that it is painful. And the world is looking at you in awe. Like, when people tell me about myself, I'm like, but now I'm like, honey, give me my flowers. Thank you. I'm watering them. So I give people their flowers. But when they are telling me, now I'm receiving, please, I have a whole shelf. You want to give me a plaque? Don't worry. I have a shelf for it. You want to give me flowers? I have a vase and water for it. So it is a lot of love. It is a lot of kindness and lush. So that lush part is the pink glittery, where it is happy, fabulous, and just showing up in just beautiful glory. I I hope I don't mean to sound like, I don't know, a type of way. It's just people who've known me, my life, just know, like, there is a me that people who've known, like, yeah, that's how she is. Like, personality, honey, child, I'm there. And I walk in even without saying a thing. I've had experiences where I'm getting feedback and I haven't said a word, but I'm also speaking, right? And I lost myself for a bit, but I'm back. I'm back, and I'm back better, because then, it wasn't like there's still a little bit of, we're trying to make it. I'm trying to, no, now I've made what I'm going to make. I'm still going to make more, but I realize that all of that clawing energy is not necessarily what is going to get you there. There's working hard and there's working smart. And I'm trying to work smart. And the universe is going to give me my coins. The universe is going to give me my coins, and I'm not going to claw at anything. And that's where I am. So I think that the book, maybe the title of the book, but there was a time I penned down the journey of self will be the title of my book.
Interesting. I'm sure no one is going to be expecting pink glittery factors and having title in there. I'm here thinking, do you intend to sell this on OnlyFans?
I wish I could. But like they said, some of us who have shame, we're not making certain money that we can make.
Right.
So leave it there.
Okay, next question. If you could witness any event from the past, present, or future, what would it be?
If I could witness.
Yeah, any event at all.
I don't know. The first thing that comes, oh God. What comes to mind? They're painful moments. I wasn't there when my grandmother died, and she was literally like my mom. Before my mom mommed me. She was the first mother I knew, and I wasn't there when she died. And I also wasn't there when my mom died. And if I could be there, Just hold their hand and to know that they've lived and they are loved and they will be missed. I think that. So, and like 3 people in my life. Honestly, the last one I don't even want to mention it because I will completely unravel. But 3 people: my mom, my uncle, and my grandma. Yeah.
Thank you.
Ah,
Off the record, your personality, who you are, your spirit is just amazing. I love how you can go from in 1 second to, being very vulnerable, and it's all genuine. So yeah, for what it's worth, um yeah, I love your energy. I
thank
love your spirit.
you. Thank you. Uh,
I'll give you a second to catch yourself.
I'm
Right
good.
after this. You
I'm
good?
good.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, next question. How would you describe the color of your journey to someone that can't see?
To someone that cannot see color, that's an interesting twist. The color of my journey. So it's not even the color, because the person, I cannot say blue, and it is, I would say, like they can't see color, but maybe they understand flowers. My journey, I would say maybe like a garden with flowers of different hues and different textures. And then it goes into where some of the most, it's not a garden, it's like a vineyard. It has trees, it has flowers, and the flowers are different shades, different textures, different, but you get to a point, you're tendering to it, and then you get to a point where when you should identify, or you've identified, you may not even know, but you take some of those and you kind of set them aside, or you don't really water them. That's it. Maybe you don't really water it, and you move and you focus on certain plants because you think or they told you that's what you should focus on. And then you're back to realizing the plants and the parts of your garden that you really need to focus, that are your essence. I would say that. I listened to a podcast. There's this guy called Vusi Tembekwayo. He's South African. He has a podcast. And part of it, he said something about gods and gardens of our belief systems, where the gods are the things where we hold and are unshakable, whether they are actually or they aren't. Because some things are shakeable, but we make them unshakable. And we have a garden. You should have a garden of beliefs that you prune, because there are some beliefs that will hold true in certain spaces, certain geographies, certain societies, certain times and seasons of your life. And as you grow, either by learning more or just by a change in circumstance, right? There are people who will tell you, I can never spend 500,000 naira on food. But when you start earning, I don't know, 10 million a month, 500,000 naira on food is like, please, how much is that? Let's move on. Do you get what I'm saying? So your circumstance might change. And so in terms of gardens of belief, he was like, you have to keep pruning those beliefs, because some things will change. There are some things that should not change. integrity, like certain values, integrity, honesty, hard work, all of those things, probably gods of your belief system. But the garden, you have to keep pruning. And so, but if you prune away the things that are the core and the essence of your life, and I went through that phase where, like you said, I'm a vibrant person, da 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 da. And based on whatever it is, I kind of like pruned off part of, just muted myself. And I think I began to catch myself, or I caught myself at some point. I was making changes and I just looked at myself and I'm like, who is this? I am not a regiment, robot. How would I put it? Like, boom, 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 wake up, go through the routine. Yes, there are routines, but my routines are still flexible, please. And I kind of have neurodivergence. So I'm definitely not a stickler for routine. It actually drives me crazy. If I have to go through a routine all the time, oh my God, drives me crazy. So I saw that my personality, like I was muted, my vibrance, I lost my vibrance. And in a way, I pruned that out, and I helped life prune that out of me. And I'm like, that is not happening again. So it's like my life, my journey has been that you have this vibrant vineyard, garden, there's trees, there's plants, there's flowers, but you lose sight of the things that are the core of your essence, that lights a fire in your soul, who you are, right? Some people, who they are is they're quiet, they sit in their house, they're fine. I sit in my house, I enjoy it too. I can sit in my house for a whole week, not talk to anyone, maybe except on my phone, not touch my doorknob, and I'm fine. But I'm still vibrant, either in my conversations with people or when I step outside. You're like, okay, yeah, she's here. So I'm getting back and I'm focusing. And again, in that garden, I'm literally looking at it. Are there trees that people have planted? Trees of thoughts, right? Trees of thoughts that you think is an unshakable thing, and then you're questioning, who said that? Who made it a rule? Why is it a rule? Does it apply to me? Because it can't even be a rule, but it doesn't apply to me. It's a rule for somebody else. So there are some trees that I have cut down. I have uprooted. It's not just even, there are some you cut down. And there are times I realize, you think you cut something down, but that tree is going back because you did not uproot it. There are trees I am uprooting. I have uprooted. There are flowers that I am like, we are not planting that here. Self-doubt, criticism, you're not good enough, you can't do this, a woman can do anything. I can do anything. I can build a cupboard, but I'm choosing not to do it. I'm a DIY queen, but now I'm DIY princess. I will help you out, read the instruction to you. I am not lifting a hammer because instead, thank God I can afford it. I can DIY a lot of things, but I'm like, no, task rabbits, sir, we need furniture put together. You get your money, you do it, you get your money and you go. I'm not doing that. I am choosing not to do it. Doesn't mean I cannot do it. So I'm really rearranging my garden. There are trees that are there. And again, I'm making sure that they are my independent thoughts, not what society has said. Society might be right and I might adopt it, but I want to be sure that it fits with the core of who I am. And there are gardens of whatever. For instance, I'm saying, oh, lush, pink, glittery. I can decide that my fat will not have glitter, but it's still going to be pink. Or I can decide my fabulous color is not going to be, because, hey, orange is the new black. Right? So those are things that are still mobile and movable, but it's a garden that, parts of it died, parts of it we neglected, parts of it we dismissed, but we're back and we're reassessing and making sure that what we are keeping in the garden is really what holds the soil of our life together, holds your soil. So when the floods come, when the storm comes, it is that one that is deep. When they show you pictures of grass and they say there are some grass that it has roots that are like 3 feet deep, not the one that is just, those superficial things that No, I might sound like frivolous when I'm talking about lush and pink glitter, but it's real. It's not, it may seem frivolous to some people. Of course, it doesn't mean I'm wearing pink all the time, even though I have a lot of pink. So it doesn't mean that I'm outside and I'm doing kiki and like someone said, yeah, where you're just laughing and you look like a bimbo. If you meet me outside, you might think, oh, pretty. But if you stay a minute, you know that this is not, even Barbie is smart. So even if I say this is not a Barbie, it's an insult to Barbie because Barbie is smart, right? So this is not a dumb thing, dumb pretty face. But I choose how I want to stand in my own life. You don't have to like it. You don't have to stay for the show. And that's fine. So that's how I describe it.
I'm sure this blind person got the full gist of your journey. So last fourth question. If life is a journey, what vehicle are you traveling in, and what does that say about your approach to life?
I was first going to say a sports car. So my job, I travel for work, and the company or whatever it is I'm working for, they pay for car rental. So I get to drive different kinds of cars. And they've been giving me like, regular American cars. They give you regular cars. And then one day they gave me a sports car. And I was like, woo, I get it. I get why I felt, when they say, oh, the power in this engine, I said, I felt it. I know now I want to get a sports car. But then when you said how it describes how I go through life. Okay. If you think of, I could mention a big car, but I don't want a big raggedy car. It's like car. Okay, maybe if people are, let me see. Okay, brands.
For this, it's not a car. You don't have to limit yourself down to a car. It's a vehicle. So it could be a plane, it could be a train, it could be a ship. Yeah. I don't want you to limit yourself down to a car.
Thank you for that. Honestly, a yacht is what comes to mind. But I'm like, I need a yacht that travels fast because I ain't got time. But then again, you want to take life chill. It moves. A yacht moves. So yeah, a yacht. Why? Because when I was thinking of a car, I was thinking like a car that has, like, you're talking of maybe like all those Mercedes buses that is like, bulletproof, but it has multiple seats. So it's comfortable, luxurious, but it holds a number of people, or a limo. But a yacht, because one, it has rooms and space for days. And if there's one thing about me, I'm gonna take my people with me. Leave nobody behind, even though it's not always a good thing. But I'm trying. It's something I'm trying to modify a little bit. But I think the default I'm still on is I'm gonna take my people with me. So yes, a yacht. And there's space, because if you're annoying me, I can go and sit down that corner. Let everybody, we can have space. And yeah, and it can be comfortable. So it's not just a raggedy ass ride. It's a nice ride. There's fun things to do. There's a lot of things to do, and there's room for everyone. Yeah.
Okay. Something that has been common across the board with that particular answer is bringing people along. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Okay, so before I ask you the question from the previous guest, what question do you want me to ask the next person I have to chat with?
I should have prepared for this. What question do I want to ask? Let's see. What?
It could be a crazy question. It could be serious. It could be fun. Just
Crazy question. Fun. Okay.
or if you want to be serious, go ahead.
I mean, I'm I think a serious question is probably what is coming more to mind.
Okay.
And that probably maybe I need to just start saying the words, then I can tweak it. That's usually how my head works.
Okay.
What should I say? What is the essence of your life? No, it came to me in a different way. But what? Oh, okay. What is your greatest want in life?
What is your greatest want in life?
Want or need in life?
Okay. It's an interesting one. Okay. Now the question from the previous guest, it was a he. His name is Titus. He runs a digital marketing agency in Lagos there
Okay.
called OptiClick. His question was, how does your why actually make a difference, not just to you, but to the community at large?
Okay, that's what you meant by I probably have answered that.
Yeah.
I think it's my why, honestly, the way we're approaching it is it makes these people feel seen. It makes them know that somebody is thinking about them and it cares about their well-being. And someone is trying to keep them in a good state for themselves and their families. For me, honestly, it's just the fulfillment, honestly. Like, it's just, you wake up and you're making a difference and you're happy and that's just it. I mean, because it's not even paying me. If it's like, I'm making millions of dollars from it, I'll be like, well, and it's funding my lifestyle. It's not. It's not. It's even draining my coffers. But yeah, it is waking up and just knowing that someone's child has the opportunity for a good life because their parent is remaining healthy. Their parent is not incapacitated by illness, and their parent is not spending all their money on illness, right? Because it's a cycle, and it's a vicious cycle that just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and lives are destroyed. Me losing parts of my family and then getting to a point, like I'm getting to a point where I'm building and I'm like, oh, when they talk about, in Yoruba land, they will be saying something, and in different, they'll say a child without a father, they suffer, a child without a father. And it was when I was building that I saw it, I felt it. And it really broke my heart because I was like, if my uncle were alive, more than half of all these struggles, like that, I swear to you, I swear. So, and then you're like, if you can give somebody that, a parent, opportunity for a parent to be there, to be in good health and to be strong and to be in the capacity that they can provide for their family. Because sometimes we look at health as just, you're just healthy. No, health has consequences. Your health is central to a lot of things. You have children, your children's first and this anniversary, wedding, going to school, graduating, and you cannot even experience that, and chronic illness is so bad that it really seeps into all the memories People look at me, I've talked about a lot of things. And when I talk about a lot more things, it's that my mom's story is like really into a lot of things. And for some people, they don't have the opportunity to even be able to rise above, get a breathing room out of. You see children where their life is just like, just because, and they're struggling to even make it through. So for me, I think that's it. Just being able to give someone that opportunity to be in good health and in good strength, to be fully present for their families.
Thank you. Thank you for that answer. Something I forgot to mention, and as you were answering it, it came back to mind, was I love the fact that you guys, on based on what you said, you guys are not focusing on solving the problem, but rather what is the cause of the problem. You're focusing on maintaining a healthy lifestyle or teaching them to live healthy. I love that, because I think that's one of the things that, because of something you alluded to at the start of the conversation about pressure, where in a pressure that kind of limits your ability to see, or think properly. I think, just from my personal experience and seeing my parents in survival mode, my dad doesn't eat from morning. When he comes back at night, he swallows a whole, bowl of Eva and all that. Just, I'm personally, on a personal level, I take my health very seriously, and it's something I try to pass across to my family members as well. Like, hey guys, we got to do better and stuff like that. So, I just wanted to highlight that I like the fact that you guys are doing that with Amal Outreach.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Folake, this kind of brings us to the end of such a beautiful, colorful conversation that we've had. The question I want to ask now is there any question that you were expecting me, or you hoped I would have asked you that I didn't ask you?
I didn't have expectations per se. I think I just came with an open mind.
Okay.
Yeah, I came with an open mind.
Based on how the conversation went, is there anything that you would have wanted me to ask, touch on that,
Right now, no.
Okay.
No,
all right.
Yeah.
I'll take that as this was an amazing conversation that you had.
It's been wonderful.
Thank you, Folake. I do appreciate.
So thank you very much. I mean, it was a wonderful conversation. I'm glad I took, because like, I don't know this person, and I'm like, but I was just like, hey, someone is trying to do something good. Just do what you can, and that's it. So it was a wonderful conversation. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Now we've come to the end of the episode. Pretty insightful conversation, right? Well, if you got some value from me, please go do the needful. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and also share with a friend. I believe one of the best ways this channel is going to grow is by word of mouth. So if you found some value from this conversation at any point, please share with a friend. Thank you as you do, and until the next time we see, I wish you more life and more blessings.